What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Showtime is always again with King's Critiques. And we're back for one of the best shows of the season, if not the best, Dress Up Darling. In the last episode, well, Marin kind of thought she was gonna get given the good by Gojo, and it just did not happen because she eventually realized that, oh, he was in that aisle buying energy drinks, not other things that, oops. And, well, other than her own minor bit of self-loathing, she told a couple of guys to fuck off when they tried to hit on her, which that wouldn't have gone over as well in America, mind you that much. I don't actually remember what happened at the latter half of the episode. I remember it was something a little questionable, but I don't remember fully what it was, which is weird, but I mean, a week and hype and anticipation kind of do that to you. I will say I do kind of hope that maybe within the next couple of episodes that's left in the season that we get some more details about that Akira thing and they don't like string us along all the way to next season. But that being said, let's get with the usual caveats of number one, which would be if anything in your mind comes in for anything I say, do, talk about, the show does, or whatever it might be. Please don't forget to drop a comment because it's good for the algorithm, good for my soul, absolutely free, and everyone loves doing free things, right? And on that topic, please don't forget to let the video run through, let me get the watch time, hit the like button, subscribe, because it's also good and free. That being said, let's get to the episode. Oh right, I actually do remember one thing that happened in the last episode. Gojo played the rest of the game and saw quite how fucked up it was. Alright, that's probably one of the most fucked up things I've seen in this show. Anyway, someone's crying. I apologize ahead of time for this bit. I mean Amane, not what I did say. So, I'm going to take the guess that this is Akira's backstory. Since we already saw everything that Akame had to go... Akame? Is that his name or is it Akane? I don't remember. My bad. We saw everything that the cross-dressing cosplayer had to go through with his parents, with, you know, ex-girlfriends, that kind of thing. So, like, we saw his backstory. So this is Akira's bit, I'm guessing? Also, if anybody has ever had parents do this kind of thing where they strip away the thing you love when you get into middle school, what you do, especially because the fact that those manga are worth at least $20 a piece, you disown your parents once you turn 18 because that means they don't care about your mental sanity, they don't care about your well-being, and they just want to use you. So, legitimate thing, once you turn 18, if your parent has done that, disappear from their lives. Or at least tell them that you want your shit back because you've turned 18 and you're allowed to like what you like. And if they still argue, leave them. Because listen, parents throw away shit that's worth too much money all the fucking time because they don't want their kids exposed to it. And honestly, I think that's a little ass backwards for where we are in society. Like, I'm not going to go into full detail, but I have my own beliefs of things that, you know, kids shouldn't be exposed to. And listen, certain manga is definitely not the kind of thing you want to strip away from them. Because a lot of that shit's very wholesome, very good. If you want to strip away the stuff that shows way too much violence, that's one thing. You know, their little kiddie brains are just like the pictures when they're young. But when they get into middle school, they kind of understand the violence more, so stripping that away from them, I understand. But, like, all the wholesome and, like, comedy-related manga, that kind of stuff, you can leave with them. Shit's expensive. You don't want them to, like, not have a sense of humor. You know, the fucking rom-com related anime, as long as it's not too risque, which, listen, much as I love Dress Up Darling, maybe that's not a good one to show the kids, high-key. Like, things that involve a little bit more drama, the kids are well apt to be more exposed to, you know, like a Fruits Basket or something. And I only say that because I read Fruits Basket before the re-release in middle school, you know, so... And then again, us 90s kids, like, we're allowed to be given more shit than anybody else in recent history when they're in development stages, and maybe that's why we were the last line that actually had some clue, like, our minds are a little tainted by modern-day society, but not so much as to not, like, have been robbed of chances as kids as much. I don't know. All I know is manga's too expensive. Don't just, like, throw it away or throw it in a building somewhere for it to get, like, gross and mildewy. Now, granted, her mother did at least, like, pack it together neatly, but they still do that half the time before throwing away, putting away, burning it, whatever it might be. And, like, listen, I hope that any of you that had, like, parents that might have thrown away your Pokemon cards when you were younger went up to them when you were an adult and went, "This is your fault I'm not rich!" After the whole, like, Charizard thing, you know? Damage. Okay, well, that confirms that's Akira's backstory. So I'm at least getting what I asked for, why she's, like, where she is in life. And it still doesn't give the full reason to why she dislikes Marin, or maybe she likes her too much. Still not clear on that one. Maybe it's the dislike portion because Marin is allowed to, like, live free, live happy, do what she wants, including the cosplay thing, and nobody's stopping her. But hopefully we find out in the next 20 minutes. No, honestly though, at this point she should have taken her chopsticks and jabbed them into her mother's eyes. Again, not actual advice, just, like, very cynic advice, because literally, what the fuck is people's problems? Like, literally. Here's a better piece of advice, especially if you're a parent in training. You know, if you don't want your kid, you know, reading or watching anime or manga to a certain point, instead of robbing that chance from them completely, age them up into it and see if they're still into it as they grow. You know? Give them the stuff that has very little to nothing inappropriate from the ages of they have a brain to, I don't know, the middle school age Akira's in. And then give them something that involves a little bit more drama. Maybe something a little bit more PG-13 with some swearing. And then once they get to high school, just let them have fun with it. Because high-key, by high school age, most people understand the violence, the risque stuff, the this, that, the other thing. So, like, don't throw it away from their lives completely. Let them grow into it. And if they're uninterested at a certain point, well, they're not interested in it anymore because you aged them up instead of just giving free exposure to everything, which frankly is kind of part of the problem with how things are in society, is them having free range to everything and parents not knowing exactly what to keep them away from, which turns ridiculous. Like, I'm not going to go into the whole of it, but listen, anime and manga are the least threatening things for anybody. Literally. Like, the least threatening things. Those you can at least, like, monitor. Music? You can't monitor music. Music is everywhere. You know, people blasting it at 90 on their cars on the fucking highway when they're driving by. You have your car windows open with your kid in the car and you just hear, grab a bucket and a mop. It's a wet. It's like, oh. Like that's just the immediate example my mind can go to, because then your, like, little 6-year-old kid will look at you from the back seat and go, "Mommy, what's a WAP?" And you're gonna have to explain that to her. Like, there's a lot of adult things that people can explain to kids and they'll just look stupid later on. That's one of them, and while that's a stupid song, stupid thing in general, imagine, you know, your fucking 7-year-old goes into first grade or something and starts singing just the one line, just for funsies, how much trouble they will get in for that. That's the kind of thing you cannot keep track of and monitor proper unless you do a good job. Then once she turned into a proper adult, she started buying things for herself. Good. Bottom of that dress looked a little familiar, not gonna lie. I'm sorry. It's silly, but the end of the intro sequence really is just the most adorable thing. We go back into this. Isn't Black Labalia the one that Marin did at the end of last season when they did their first group cosplay? And, like, we all know Marin did that beautifully. I don't know about Juju. I mean, granted, there are chibi and, like, variants of characters in existence through fan art. Like, that's at least the best part of being an artist. God, I wish I had that much talent, is being able to do variants of your favorite characters. Like, even if they're not in the canon, you can just do whatever the fuck you want. And honestly, it works out a lot. Like, I've seen a lot of chibi art of things that are unofficial, and it still looks really good. Yo, honestly, though, I get where she's coming from with that. Buying a smaller version because you read online reviews. I bought a bigger version because I read something attached to the thing I was buying, and it's like, yeah, these are in Asian sizes, by the way, so, like, buy them bigger. And I'm like, okay, hopefully that works. You'll hear mention more of that at the end of the episode. I don't know if it'd go over that easily. Okay, hold on. That was actually a decent thumbnail possibility. I love how they both have this look on their face thinking that'll go over as well as they think it will. It probably won't, mind you, because Juju is, how they say, an asshole. I mean, she's a ciscon. She's decent enough friends with Marin, but she's still an asshole. Like, she looks so disgruntled about it. But, like, the other two just need to look at her and say, but it was your sister's idea, and she would believe it. Like, they really will need to say it was the sister's idea, and she will be all for it. That is all it takes. Okay, so they are mentioning this, what the sister said, just to try and help a little bit. Okay, you go from it mentioning something that, like, you were gonna help her about, and then you just attack her person. You attack her physically, not just her physically. Like, damn. Bring up the height thing is one thing. Bring up the other parts is just rude. Though it looks like it might nail in the head. Wonder if she's gonna give him benefit of the doubt. Plus, also, she's a professional cosplayer, so I get why she doesn't want to, like, make any errors in the cosplay. But also, here's the thing. Isn't cosplaying supposed to be about fun? Hasn't that always been the thing, the drive, the whatever? Like, when you're doing it for success to win a competition, that's one thing. When you're doing it for funsies, especially when you're a well-known cosplayer, I'll just accept it, really. And that's, well, yeah, I'm going to get what I'm going to get at the end of the episode. Okay, for the record, though, her starting the sentence like this, and then ending like this, really makes me want to make the obvious joke. I'm sorry, but, like, I kind of think she's not thinking straight when she thinks of Juju's cosplays anyway. And that's not as weird for me to say in this case, because they're both adults. Which, again, looking at Juju is still a little weird to say that she's the adult, but she is. Ha, they convinced her. And Akira came over to help Gojo with shit? Oh, that's nice of her. Also, the sweater look from the artist's perspective is kind of odd, because, like, I mean, we've seen she's not too bad off in this department, so, like, okay. Good thing Gramps isn't there, because I feel like he would have an awkward situation with Gojo having another cute girl in his house. Right. So that's her plan to help even things out, as it were. Really? Huh. Honestly, I guess I never really paid too much attention to the side characters to even notice that much. Okay, that's probably the second creepiest thing that anyone would have seen this entire season. Listen, every time that cosplay comes into mind, there's only one thing people remember, unfortunately. And, like, I know it's an episode people have a lot of problems with, but listen, it's also kind of like the turning point for the series, which is the unfortunate part, but Gojo didn't quite think of Marin in that fashion, you know, from the beginning. Like, he learned into it more over time, but once that episode hit, man became a man. Like, without becoming a man, he became a man. You know? Huh. Nice. And based on the conversation that they were having with Juju earlier, at least not hard to pinpoint, you know, which of them is the other bunny girl. Which, I guess that kind of makes sense to why Marin got the idea to be the bunny girl in the beginning of the season. Now going back to the flashback of when she was just starting college. Hey, listen, Akira. If they had gotcha machines like this, like properly nowadays with shit like this, I would totally be at them. Not gonna lie. Like if I had a proper anime store that had these gotcha machines, no, I'd probably waste every bit of change I had in them. I'm not gonna lie. Like there's one anime store I'm actively aware of in my town, or not even in my town, in my city. Don't know if they have these things. I know they had something like it last time I was in there, but not quite to this standard. I think it just like popped out little Pokemon figures or something last time I was in there. Okay, but it was the two she's friends with currently who spotted her doing this. And like in this instance, she thought she was caught for being an anime fan, even though it's the first time she's touched something like it in years. But the thing's probably about to go from them discovering her rolling in these to them joining her in rolling for these things. Because we already saw, she got one and she, admired it and all that. So obviously this doesn't go over too bad. Exactly. Like she turns around expecting it to go bad and they're like, yo! And the thankful look of, oh good, they're not burning me. Okay, so yes, I'm going with, like, she dislikes Marin because she likes Marin. That logic, because she probably saw Marin's Black Lobalia cosplay, and that's probably what, like, interlinked everything together for her. That's what I'm going with right now. And also, I would never pay to go to college, but I do wish something like this would happen in my life before, Because, man, listen, that's all I need. I just need to be somewhere and meet some people I can, like, actively hang out with. Because, listen, I went over this with my new therapist the other day of meeting people here and there who, like, compliment my shirts or something is one thing. But I would like to actually meet people. People I can actively hang out with. Fucking talking with my neighbors and doing this or that, that's one thing. Talking with a person or two that work somewhere because, like, we find common interests, that's one thing. I want to meet someone somewhere, doesn't matter where, that I can, like, actively, exchange phone numbers with, plan to hang out with, that kind of thing. That is the kind of interaction I want. Fuck, even if it's something like that, where I, like, run into somebody who remembers my, disastrous appearance from high school or something. Like, literally. Like, low-key. Bro, give me this meet cute type of situation. Even if it's just, like, a friend thing, fuck me up. Because, like, the last friendly interaction I had, I feel like just to, like, hang out in a parking lot and chatting with a couple of drunk people, while they were very friendly, very cool people in theory, I feel like just chatting up with some drunk people is not as, like, important to keep in mind for your life going forward. It was just, hey, you got lucky, you got to, smoke and chat up with some drunk people. And I would like to find someone I can actively do things with, like, shit, even if it's just me propping up a chair in my room or something, just watching anime and chatting with somebody that I've just, like, met out and about. Later, yeah. It's very difficult to make new friends as an adult when all of your friends is basically gone away. Unless you're, like, in a situation where you can be lucky enough to meet people like that, like in college. But college is too expensive to just meet people. I'm gonna do something like that, I'll, like, spend $20 trying to go to a place and pointlessly sit around and not meet anybody. But also, I'd rather, like, focus more on the important things, like putting content out for you guys, because at least, like, that I can do without wasting time. I wish I had a fucking mega high powered phone or mega high powered laptop. I could, like, take all my video files and edit them elsewhere. Unfortunately, that's not a thing, so I can't just, like, sit somewhere and meet people. But lucky Akira, pretty girl, met some cool friends. I wish I could have any of that. Well, apparently, whatever she did by the time they got back worked, because they just dropped their groceries. Mini Labalia. I do think some higher raised, like, shoes or whatever would have done good for the look. It's not as good as Marin's, but it does work out nicely. Yo, also, can I say real quick, there's way too much Shizuka Marin stuff on Amazon. There's not enough Black Labalia Marin stuff on Amazon. Just say. And that was the expected reaction, even if it didn't look as good as it does. Meanwhile, she's crying, because she probably also agrees with Shinju, but she's just gonna let them have their sisterly moment. Well, okay, listen. I feel like you might be looking into a mirror, sweetheart. Because, like, I don't know, there's fan service, like in her case, and I don't know, I guess, sure. Like, I feel like it might be fan service to the wrong kind of people, even if Juju is an adult. But, you do you, boo. Okay, but, like, she's making some very good points to, like, take any kind of pictures if you're short in stature. To which, as long as that's actually very good to keep in mind. Very good. They're all just doing it. Which, okay, listen. None of them can realistically be blamed because the one is a giant fan of Juju's, the other's the sister of Juju's, and, well, Marin. Like, friend or not, Marin is Marin. That she just does the thing she does. She said it. Huh. You know, as she explained earlier, the one definitely works with male cosplays, but the fact that, you know, the little sister can pull that off as well as she does is still surprising to me a full season later. Because, again, her compared to her sister, kind of difficult to pull off the male cosplay. Then again, Marin did it very well just in the beginning of the season, basically, so... Oh, wait, no. Right, that is Marin that did it, and Juju... Wait, Juju's doing the other... Actually, that's more impressive. Yeah, no. I didn't even actually... I thought it was the one in the back who's flatter that cosplayed as the other one. That's on me. The way they're going off, though... Really? Someone who's so famous... Listen, I don't understand that thought process either. Like, I do, but I don't. Because, like... When you're as popular as you are, I kind of understand, like, it eventually becoming so overwhelming that you want to stop doing what you're doing because of that. Especially when it's something like, unless you're entering competitions, you're not, like, winning money from doing that thing to recognize for. Okay, that's a slight lie because social media payment is totally a thing. Don't know if Instagram does it, but, like, Twitter does it. So, like, you never know, but... That's a crazy thought for somebody that's as popular as she is. And who said that? Bitch, listen. I have never cosplayed once in my life. But if I wanted to start, it doesn't matter. If I keep up with it, doesn't matter if it's from the ages of now to the time I die, whether that be soon or 70. Once I get started, if I like it, I'll keep doing it. Might that be expensive? Might I just rehash the same shit over and over again because it's expensive? Maybe. We'll see. That's true. But, you know, unless the universe has something to say against it, doesn't mean you can't keep trying. I love how they're treating her like emotional, you know, admittance to her whole thought process. Like, it's just so clear and obvious. And, like, that's doubling up after what I just said of it really doesn't matter. Like, for someone who's never done it, I basically can say that it doesn't matter. Is that to, like, be less weird if I, you know, want to take pictures of cosplayers when I go to the next event, whatever that might be? Maybe, because it's been a long time since I have gone to an event. But listen, pictures of cosplayers are pictures of cosplayers. They don't gotta be weird. Like, doesn't matter how old you are. Though sometimes it can sound and seem weird, but listen, there has to be some normalcy to it. And like I've seen enough of those videos where people complain about the people taking pictures of cosplayers and people being so insistent or weird about it. But listen, if I like, a cosplay somebody has, if I think they're attractive in whatever they're wearing, yeah, I will ask for a picture, but I won't be the type of person to be, weird about it. You think somebody with my fucking anxiety issues and self-loathing issues would try to be pushy? Nah, man. Like, I'm the type of person who might, be around the area, and if somebody tries getting pushy with somebody, I might go over and beat their ass for the person, but I wouldn't be that pushy person. Also, if you've heard my wheezing in, like, any episode ever, I do highly apologize. There's just something fucked up about how I am to where, I talk, I breathe in, it just, it's irksome. Yeah, and there is zero issue with that. Exactly what I said earlier. Like, doesn't matter if you're in your fucking teens, 20s, 30s, 70s. Excuse me. Doesn't matter. Especially because when you, get into your older age and you start graying, or balding even, there's so many good anime characters you can pull off, even if it's just something simple like Master Roshi, which really is just a simple matter of getting a Hawaiian shirt, a fake cane, those glasses, and a turtle shell. Because buying some fucking shorts, well, that's the cheapest thing of the whole bit. The Hawaiian shirt actually is probably the cheapest thing of the whole bit. And, like, that's partially true, too, because, like, how are you even supposed to afford getting the shit when you're young? Unless you're, like, Marin and you're super hot and have a fucking bank card because you're a model, too. But other than that, when you're young, how are you supposed to afford the shit? And also, that point is probably the most true thing. Like, I know more people are getting away with that kind of thought process than what should be to a certain point, but also it's, the good part to not be a dreg. Because here's the thing. Like, look at how a lot of businesses are getting lame and boring. That's what they want everyone to do, is be lame and boring. And that kind of lesson is the kind of lesson that people need to make use of more. Is the fact, just do whatever the fuck you want, man. Like, you're either going to get so depressed something happens, or an accident could happen, or you might have a miracle and be old enough to live out the rest of your life. But either way, why would you give up what you like doing because you turn a certain age? That's fucking lame. There are very few things that should be a thing for. The primary should be, talking to anybody under the age of 18 once you turn an adult. That should be the one guaranteed thing that, you give up with, that you love doing once you're an adult, because that's also illegal. As it would be like starting random fights somewhere or something like that, because as opposed to like just getting a talking to, or, being held accountable for a few hours, yeah, once you turn 18, if you beat the shit out of somebody in public, unfortunately, even if they deserve it, you could be arrested. So, like, fighting and the other thing, those are two things that definitely you lose access to when you turn 18. Otherwise, though, why do you give up on shit? That's a hit and miss thing, depending on how your life is, but also very true. Because, like, yeah, that's actually a very good point, because either you have a decent job that can pay for the shit you want to do, or at the very least, you're starting to go into credit card debt and can buy whatever the fuck you want, because, well, you're probably going to have an incident happen at some point that you're going to die from anyway, so fuck it, YOLO. And worst case, you also might hit, the big time and be able to pay off all that credit card debt. Which, hey, convenient timing to remind, don't forget to hit the like button and, hook me up on Patreon and stuff, because this is, like, my attempt at income, so, yeah. Because, like, not to break away from the happy again, but to remind y'all, like, you'd never get these videos again if I tried to get an actual job, because I would be in jail very fast. And that is not an excuse, that is me being acutely aware of my problems. Anyway, continuing on because she raises a very good point one way or the other. Hey, they might suck as adults, but like, at least it's one of those things where, you know, they make enough money to survive, and that's the important part, right? Again, they're using the manga panel for shit, and I love it. Like, matter of fact, I feel like using the manga panel instead of like a flashback from season 1 is like a little bit more character to it. Because like they could have reflashed the shot from season 1 and like up the art style or whatever. But I feel like using the manga panel does add some character to it. So, like, do they think let me try that again. Do they think Marin has some kind of issue with Akira hanging out with Gojo and helping him make the shit? Because by the reaction, I think that's what their mind is, and Marin doesn't have jealousy issues. Like, that's the thing. I think maybe at one point throughout the past 23 episodes, she has had any instance of jealousy. And now she's just raising the direct question. Uh-oh. She spotted that instance. Yeah, I still would like the full explanation to that one. Like, I took my assumptions earlier in the episode, but still zero clue. Meanwhile, Juju just coming out front and saying it. Yeah, no, it's like, it's a hate behind a like. Like, I can't figure out any more than that, really. And they cut off the episode again before we got any sort of actual... Fuck you, give me an answer by the end of the season. Like, we better get an answer next week, because actually, that is stressful. Because there's, like, characters that don't like each other, and that's fine. You know, there's characters that don't like each other, hate each other, have some sort of rivalry. That's fine, that's one thing, that's whatever. Akira has a problem with Marin, and we have zero fucking clue why. I'm still going with the highest probability be she, like, has a crush on Marin. Like, she doesn't like the outgoing personality. She doesn't like the fact that she can do whatever the fuck she wants. But she likes her. Like that is any closest thing I can think of. Is like, it's a jealousy thing, but it's also an attraction thing, you know? To where, like, I'm doing it again. She hates everything that Marin can enjoy herself and be herself and live her life the best that she can, including loving anime without her parents being assholes about it like Akira's were. But the way she keeps, like, looking at her in such an admiring fashion, I can't help but feel as, like, a little bit of a crush, too. Like, yeah, that might be my, mindset of how most things have to be, Eurified, as it were. Even, like, the best couple in anime that I've watched. But I can't think of anything else that it could be of why she hates her that much. Because, like, it could be simply the jealousy thing. But she keeps looking at her so admiringly. I don't know. Y'all can let me know your thoughts on that in the comment section, because next week's the finale, and that's super depressing. Like, hopefully by the finale next week, we get an announcement for Season 3 to happen at some point in 2026, because... Anyway, I mentioned earlier that I had something to mention at the end of the episode, and I guess I will bring that up before I get to all the other outro shit of, with any luck, I won't be just wearing one of these shirts next week. I'm gonna leave it at that. But, like, everything they were talking about in the episode actually gave me a lot of, like, good feelings about that thing. And, yeah, hopefully it works out, because I'm gonna be pissed if I saw a warning and I adhered that warning, and that warning is a moot point. But with any luck, you'll see that next episode. I mean, it's kind of obvious what I'm talking about, but hey, listen. So, let me know your thoughts about the episode, and, well, with any luck, I can wear something that just one of the two shirts I bought specifically for the series. And if not, well, I'll either be wearing, I probably won't be wearing this one, I'll probably be wearing the black one again, because it's easier to wash colors than whites on a consistent basis. So, that said, don't forget to drop those comments, hit the like button, subscribe to the review, this is the review channel, the gaming channel in the description, ring both bells, like Facebook, follow Twitter, and Blue Sky, keep updated with things, TikTok, Patreon, get the full unedited visual and audio, the stuff I upload here. I can eventually upload the stuff I currently have backed up starting in October. But hey, new subscribers at least help keep up that, refreshed upload basis on the Patreon, because they're dumbasses and don't know how storage space works. Which is sad. But, it is what it is. Also, don't forget to go follow on Twitch, subscribe for benefits, can do so Twitch Prime for free. Helps me out immensely for the temporary, this for the long term. And that being said, oh, right. Playlist here. Let it run through conversations with the stuff within whatever. Check out the video recommended to you by YouTube here. Or if you're watching the smaller version, the bigger version, to see what you missed. Counting down, remove it completely like a couple of weeks ago, the cocks. Sign out. Ta-ta for now. Peace.